There exists a painting so disturbing, so psychologically unsettling, that no major museum has ever displayed it publicly for more than a few days at a time. It's not graphic in the traditional sense. There's no blood, no violence, no nudity. Yet everyone who sees it reports the same visceral reaction, profound unease, sometimes even nausea. Security guards refuse to work alone in rooms where it hangs. Visitors complain of headaches, dizziness, and an overwhelming urge to leave. Children cry when they see it. And the strangest part? The painting depicts something completely ordinary, a hallway. But this is no ordinary hallway. This is Bill Stoneham's The Hands Resist Him, created in 1972, and it has become known as the most haunted painting in the world. The story behind it involves unexplained deaths, paranormal activity, and a terrified family who claimed the figures in the painting came alive at night. Today, we're going to examine this forbidden artwork, explore why it affects people so deeply, and try to understand what makes a painting so psychologically powerful that institutions refuse to show it. Let me start by describing what you actually see in the painting, because the image itself is deceptively simple. A young boy, maybe 5 or 6 years old, stands in front of a glass door or window. He's wearing a simple white shirt and dark pants. His face is pale, almost ghostly, with large dark eyes that seem to follow you no matter where you stand. There's something off about his expression, something that doesn't quite register as normal childhood emotion. He looks lost, confused, perhaps afraid. Next to him stands a life-size doll, not a cute, comforting doll, but one of those vintage dolls with a porcelain face and stiff limbs. The doll is female, wearing a simple dress, and she appears to be the same height as the boy. In her hands, she holds what looks like a dry cell battery or some kind of electrical device. Her eyes, like the boy's, have an unsettling quality. They're too large, too knowing. She doesn't look like a toy. She looks like something pretending to be a toy.
Behind the glass door, pressed against the glass from the other side, are hands. Dozens of small hands, children's hands, reaching, grasping, trying to push through the barrier. They're backlit, so you can't see the bodies they're attached to. Just these disembodied hands, desperate and insistent. The glass is the only thing separating the boy from whatever those hands belong to. And the boy is standing right there, inches away from that door, as if he's about to open it or as if something is about to pull him through. The setting appears to be a simple hallway or enclosed porch. There's a window on the left showing darkness outside. The floor is plain, the walls are bare. Everything about the composition is stark and minimalist, which somehow makes it more disturbing. There are no distractions, nowhere for your eye to escape. You're forced to confront the 3 central elements: the boy, the doll, and the hands. Bill Stoneham painted this work in 1972 in Oakland, California. He was a relatively unknown artist at the time, working in a style that blended realism with surrealism. According to Stoneham, the painting was not meant to be a horror image. It was deeply personal, based on a photograph of himself as a young child. The boy in the painting is Stoneham himself. The door represents the dividing line between waking life and the world of dreams and possibilities. The hands represent alternate lives or possibilities, the different paths his life might have taken. And the doll? She's meant to be a guide, a companion, helping the boy navigate between these worlds. Stoneham has explained that he was inspired by a poem written by his wife, which explored themes of childhood, doorways, and the thin membrane between reality and imagination. He wanted to capture that liminal quality, that sense of standing on a threshold between different states of being. In his mind, the painting was about potential and transformation, not horror.
But that's not how people experienced it. From the moment the painting was first exhibited, viewers reported feeling deeply uncomfortable. The gallery owner who first showed it, Charles Feingarten, displayed it in his Los Angeles gallery in 1972. Actor John Marley, who played the movie producer in The Godfather, bought the painting. Feingarten, the gallery owner, died within a year. Marley died within a year. The art critic who reviewed the show also died within a year. 3 people closely connected to the painting's first exhibition, all dead within 12 months. Now, were these deaths actually connected to the painting? Almost certainly not. People die. Coincidences happen. But these deaths became part of the painting's mythology, and that mythology would only grow stranger. After Marley's death, the painting disappeared from public view for nearly 30 years. No one knew where it had gone. It seemed to have vanished completely from the art world, which is unusual for a work that had received attention in a major gallery. Then, in February 2000, the painting resurfaced in the most modern of ways, on eBay. A family in California was selling it, and the listing they wrote would turn The Hands Resist Him into an internet legend. According to their listing, they had found the painting abandoned behind an old brewery. They took it home, and that's when the strange occurrences began. The family claimed that the figures in the painting moved at night. They said their 4-year-old daughter insisted that the children in the painting were fighting, that the boy and the doll would leave the painting and enter the room, that the hands would reach through the glass. The family set up a motion-activated camera and claimed to have captured evidence of the painting's paranormal activity. They included a warning in their eBay listing. Do not bid on this painting if you are susceptible to stress-related disease, faint of heart, or are unfamiliar with supernatural events.
The listing went viral, at least by year 2000 internet standards. Thousands of people visited the eBay page to see the image, and many of them reported experiencing negative effects just from looking at the digital photograph. People claimed they felt nauseated, got headaches, felt cold drafts in warm rooms, heard children's voices, felt an overwhelming sense of dread. Some said they felt like the boy was looking directly at them through their computer screens. Others reported that their printers would print the image on their own, or that the image would appear as their screensaver without them setting it. The painting sold for just over $1,000 to Kim Smith, a gallery owner in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Smith displayed the painting briefly but had to remove it after numerous complaints from visitors and staff. People couldn't stay in the room with it. Some visitors would enter the gallery, see the painting, and immediately leave. Others would approach it and then back away quickly, reporting feelings of panic or vertigo. Gallery employees refused to be alone with it. Smith eventually sold the painting to another collector, and it has changed hands several times since then. Each owner reports similar experiences: an overwhelming sense of unease in its presence, a feeling that the painting is somehow aware, that it's watching back. Most owners have kept it in storage rather than displayed. One owner built a special container for it and only looks at the painting briefly before sealing it away again. Bill Stoneham himself has been bemused by the reaction to his work. He painted 2 sequels, Resistance at the Threshold and Threshold of Revelation, attempting to continue and complete the story he'd begun. But neither of these later works generated the same intense response. There's something specific to the original painting that disturbs people, something Stoneham himself might not fully understand.
So, what is it about this painting that affects people so profoundly? Let's examine the psychological and artistic elements that might explain its power. First, there's the uncanny valley effect. This is a concept from robotics and animation that applies equally well to visual art. When something looks almost human, but not quite, our brains rebel. We experience discomfort and revulsion. The boy, and especially the doll in Stoneham's painting, fall directly into this uncanny valley. They're realistic enough to read as human, but something is subtly wrong. The proportions are slightly off. The eyes are too large. The expressions are ambiguous. Our brains can't quite categorize them, and this creates psychological tension. Second, there's the power of eyes in portraiture. Humans are hardwired to notice eyes and faces. We can detect a face in a crowd instantly, and we're extraordinarily sensitive to where someone is looking. The eyes in The Hands Resist Him are particularly powerful. They're large, dark, and seem to maintain eye contact regardless of viewing angle. This is a trick of two-dimensional representation. The eyes appear to follow you because they're painted to look directly out of the canvas, and your brain interprets this as tracking. But knowing this doesn't make it less unsettling. Third, the painting violates our expectations of childhood imagery. We expect paintings of children to be cheerful, innocent, nostalgic. This painting presents childhood as mysterious and potentially threatening. The boy doesn't look happy or safe. He looks trapped, vulnerable. The doll, which should be a source of comfort, instead registers as sinister. And those hands, which might be reaching out to help, seem more like they're trying to pull the boy into some unknown realm. The painting subverts our deepest associations with childhood, and this creates profound discomfort. Fourth, there's the compositional structure. The painting creates a claustrophobic space with no escape. The door behind the boy is blocked by hands. The window shows only darkness. The hallway is enclosed. As viewers, we feel trapped in this space with the boy. There's no visual release, no place for the eye to rest comfortably. Everything in the composition directs our attention back to those three disturbing elements: boy, doll, hands.
Fifth, the painting taps into universal fears: fear of the dark, fear of being trapped, fear of dolls, fear of unknown entities just beyond our perception. It's a masterclass in visual anxiety, whether intentional or not. Stoneham has managed to create an image that activates multiple threat responses simultaneously. Our subconscious reads danger in every element, even though consciously we know it's just paint on canvas. The paranormal claims surrounding the painting are almost certainly explained by psychological rather than supernatural factors. When people approach the painting already primed by its reputation, already expecting to feel afraid, they're much more likely to experience negative reactions. This is called the nocebo effect, the opposite of placebo. If you believe something will make you feel bad, it often does, regardless of any objective properties it might have. The power of suggestion is extraordinarily strong. Additionally, the viral story and internet folklore have created a feedback loop. Each person who reports a negative experience validates the experiences of others, and the painting's reputation grows. People seek out the image specifically to test whether they'll feel the reported effects, and this anticipation itself creates anxiety and discomfort. The painting has become a kind of psychological litmus test, a dare, a way to prove you're brave enough to look at something supposedly cursed. But we should acknowledge that independent of any supernatural claims, The Hands Resist Him is genuinely unsettling on purely artistic grounds. Stoneham, whether consciously or unconsciously, has created an image that exploits vulnerabilities in human visual perception and psychology. It's a painting that doesn't just depict unease, it generates unease. That's a remarkable achievement, even if it's not the kind of achievement most artists aspire to.
The question of why no museum will display it permanently is interesting. Some might assume it's because of the paranormal stories, but the real reason is more practical. Museums are public spaces meant to be welcoming and educational. A painting that causes significant numbers of visitors to experience negative physical and emotional reactions is simply bad for business. If people are leaving galleries, complaining to staff, or requesting that their children not be exposed to it, Museum directors have to consider whether the artistic or historical value of displaying the work outweighs these problems. There's also a question of context. In a museum setting, without the proper framing and explanation, the hands resist him risks being experienced as merely disturbing, rather than as a complex exploration of childhood and consciousness, which is how Stoneham intended it. Museum curators might feel that they can't responsibly display the work without extensive interpretive materials, and even then, the power of its visual impact might overwhelm any intellectual framework. Some private galleries have attempted to show it, always briefly and with warnings. These exhibitions typically attract large crowds of curious viewers, many of whom come specifically because of the painting's reputation. But the exhibitions are invariably cut short due to complaints and negative reactions. The painting seems destined to remain in private hands, viewed by small numbers of people rather than the general public. Bill Stoneham continues to create art, but he will always be known primarily for this one deeply unsettling work. In interviews, he seems somewhat resigned to this fact. He's explained the painting's symbolism repeatedly, but he acknowledges that once an artwork enters the world, the artist no longer controls its meaning. The hands resist him means whatever viewers experience when they see it, regardless of what Stoneham intended. And what most viewers experience is fear.
There is a philosophical question here about artistic responsibility. Did Stoneham create something dangerous? Can an image be harmful simply by virtue of its psychological effects? We accept that images can be powerful, that they can inspire, comfort, challenge, and provoke. But do we accept that they can harm? And if so, what obligations does an artist have to consider these potential effects? Stoneham never intended to create a cursed object or a forbidden painting. He was exploring personal themes of childhood and transformation. Yet he produced something that many people find genuinely damaging to their well-being, even if temporarily. The painting also raises questions about the role of narrative and context in shaping our perception of art. Would The Hands Resist Him be as disturbing without the stories of deaths, paranormal activity, and the viral eBay listing? Probably yes, to some degree, because the image itself is objectively unsettling. But would it have become forbidden? Would museums refuse to show it without those stories? Probably not. The mythology surrounding the painting has amplified its psychological impact to the point where the story and the image are now inseparable. In the age of the internet, The Hands Resist Him has become more accessible than ever. Anyone can look it up and view it online within seconds. Yet this accessibility hasn't diminished its power. If anything, the fact that people can encounter it unexpectedly, without preparation or context, might make its impact stronger. The painting that no museum dares to show is now potentially visible to billions of people just a few clicks away. Does this democratization of access change the painting's status as forbidden? In a sense, yes. It's no longer physically hidden or restricted, but in another sense, the painting remains forbidden in that institutions still refuse to give it their stamp of approval by displaying it in official contexts. It exists in a liminal space, accessible but not accepted, seen but not sanctioned. Much like the boy in the painting itself, standing on the threshold between worlds, The Hands Resist Him occupies a boundary zone between the visible and the forbidden.
Looking at reproductions of the painting for this video, I can confirm that it is genuinely uncomfortable to view, even when you understand all the artistic techniques being employed, and even when you're skeptical of paranormal claims. There's something about those eyes, about the ambiguous expressions, about the reaching hands, that creates a visceral response. The painting works on a level deeper than rational analysis. It speaks directly to some primal part of the brain that processes threat and danger. Whether The Hands Resist Him is a masterpiece or simply an effective horror image is open to debate. It's technically competent, but not virtuosic. The composition is strong but relatively simple. What it excels at, what makes it remarkable, is its psychological impact. Very few paintings can claim to have such a consistent and powerful effect on viewers. In that sense, Stoneham has achieved something extraordinary, even if it's not what he set out to achieve. The painting reminds us that art is not just about beauty or meaning or technical skill. It's also about affect, about the immediate, visceral response an image can generate. And sometimes that response is deeply uncomfortable. Sometimes art unsettles us, disturbs us, makes us want to look away. The question is whether we're brave enough to keep looking, to try to understand what's creating that response, and what it might reveal about our own minds and fears. So I want to ask you, would you want this painting in your home? Knowing everything you now know about it, would you be willing to live with it, to see it every day? Or is some art better appreciated from a distance, through reproductions and descriptions, rather than direct encounter? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're interested in art that's less psychologically disturbing but equally fascinating, check out our catalog of over 500 historical masterpieces available as high-quality reproductions. The link is in the description, and shipping is free worldwide. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. If you dare.